Hello, everyone. So today, during our Zoom call, I asked each of you to grab a set of notes, either from today, the past week, the past month, or the last year, because I want to look at what are our habits when taking notes and what things do we already have in place for ourselves. And I also asked you these questions that I want you to think about, and we're going to come back to. How did you learn to take notes? Who taught you? And when did you start taking notes? Because it's important that we understand what is the note taking process. And as I asked you to look at your notes, I wanted you to notice what things do you have in place for yourself? What habits do you already have? And that goes with our focused note taking unit. So today we're starting our focused note taking unit, and we're going to start with day 1. So two things I want you to think about as you're going through this today. What do I already know about taking notes, and what habits do I already have in place? Because I want you to think about, yes, taking notes, it seems very simplistic, but in reality, when you get to high school and college, if you do not know how to take notes, and studies show, research has shown that 85% of college students do not know how to properly take notes. And because of that, they will fail out of their classes. So, yes, it is simplistic, but if you do not know how to do it properly, you will fail. So, that is why we're going to go into the focus note taking unit today. So let's go ahead and get started. So the focus note-taking unit has 5 steps. Today we are going to go over step 1, taking notes. And part of that is asking, what are the 5 steps of the note-taking process? And what I call this is our essential question. So today that is going to be our focus for taking notes, the essential question. So if you're not taking notes right now, go ahead and grab a piece of paper. You're going to want to write this information down because we're going to come back to it throughout the entire year. So go ahead and grab that for yourself and come on back. All right. So the first thing you need to know about taking notes is creating an essential question. So you're asking yourself, what is an essential question? So let's go ahead and look at that. So we're going to look at creating an essential question and what really is it? So our goal today is to understand what is an essential question and what is not an essential question, and how can we write one effectively. So I want us to ask this question for ourselves. What is higher level thinking? And this goes with creating an essential question. So there are 3 levels of higher level thinking: level 1, 2, and 3. And 10% of us, so only a few of us, are at that level 1. And most of us, when we get to 7th grade, we want to be out of level 1. We do not want to be thinking at level 1. 80% of us are at level 2, so majority of our class will be at level 2 thinking, and 10% of us, another 10% of us, will be at level 3, higher level thinking. So level 2 and level 3 are what we consider higher level thinking. Level 1 is what I would consider the basic level, okay? It's okay if we're still at level 1 in 7th grade, but we want to get out of level 1 as 7th graders. We don't want to be asking level 1 questions anymore. So I provided this image to show you what is the difference between a level 1, 2, and level 3 thinking. So for example, if you're asking questions at level 1, you're asking questions that you can define, or something that is on the page, something you can easily Google. So you're gathering information. If you're at level 2, you're trying to read between the lines, explain why. And if you're at level 3, you're thinking about things that are off the page. Okay, so level 1, 2, and 3. So when we're thinking about what is an essential question, we want to make sure that we are asking questions that are at level 2 and 3. An essential question is not a level 1 question. And let's go ahead and look further into what is an essential question. So an essential question, it helps us dig into issues that we are either facing on a daily basis in our lives or in our classes. So it does not have a simple right answer. There's no technical right answer for an essential question. They are open-ended, okay, and they encourage thought. So as I said before, an essential question for us is either going to be a level 2 or a level 3 question. No essential question that we are going to write in this class is going to be a level 1. And I'm always going to ask you, what level do you think your question is? Do you think it's a level 1, 2, or 3? Because if it's a level 1, you're going to have to rewrite it. And we're hoping to eventually get to level 3. So you're asking yourself, what are the differences between these levels? So a level 1 question would look something like this. What does a word abundant mean? Okay, so that is what I call a Google question. Where is Belvedere located? Okay, another Google question. How do you tie your shoes? So these are level 1 questions. Obviously, you can see they are basic level questions. A level 2 question is something to the effect of, how are the protagonist conflicts in Divergent, so either in the book or the movie, in Divergent and Hunger Games similar? So this is asking me to compare these two characters. I can't simply answer the question. I need to go back into the text. What happens if I mix carbon with hydrogen? So I cannot easily answer this question. I'm going to have to do some research. I'm going to have to go into maybe even do this experiment on my own. So level 1, level 2. Now let's look at the difference between a level 2 and a level 3. Level 3. And I want to remind us that 80% of us are at level 2. So that is awesome. And that 10% of us were asking level 1 questions. We want to get to level 2. And 10% of us are at level 3, which is awesome. So here is a level 3, a higher level thinking question. How would life be different without parental authority? Okay, so that is now relating to the real world. Okay, asking me to think deeper. Okay, so these are questions that will make you think deeper and ask further questions. They cannot simply be answered. So let's go ahead and look at some more level 3 questions. So more level 3 questions, for example, are animals essential for man's survival? So that is another example of a level 3 question. What is the connection between reading and writing? How would our culture or society be different without computers? So when you're creating your higher level, level 2 and level 3 questions, you're going to be taking your notes, right? You're in class, you're taking your notes, and you're asking yourself, well, what is my note taking about? What are all of my notes about? For example, it could be about cars, it could be about air pollution, technology, smartphones, okay? So then you're going to ask yourself, okay, what about cars? What about technology? How can I ask a question that's a higher level question about these things? So when you're taking your notes, you're going to ask yourself, well, what are my notes all about? You're going to think of a topic and you're going to create a higher level thinking question, an essential question for your notes. So what you're going to do for your assignment today is you're going to write your own essential question. So a level 2 or a level 3 question. So it cannot be a level 1 question. So for example, it cannot be, how do you tie your shoes? What does the word abundant mean? I do not want a level 1 or level 2 question. So you're going to use these topics that I have provided here, for example, education, technology, video games, cell phones, environment. So I want you to think about some things that relate to these topics and create a higher level thinking question, a level 2 or level 3 question. So you're going to pick one of these topics, and I'm going to show you what your assignment is today. Let's go into Schoology. So when you go into the Tuesday folder for today, it's going to say using one of the topics from the Google slide. So from the Google slide I just showed you, write an essential question that is a higher level and thought-provoking. Okay. So, and I'm also going to put in here a level 2 or level 3 question. So you're going to put essential question, and then you're going to write your essential question here. Okay. And then after today, it's going to be due tonight, I'm going to go in and look at what level questions do we have. I'm sure I will still get some level 1 questions, okay? and I'm going to look at what is the difference between our level 2 and level 3 questions, and we're going to analyze them tomorrow because we cannot start the note-taking process without creating a great essential question. So go ahead and finish that assignment for today in the discussion board.